Okay, I think I'm live. I'm pretty sure I am. I don't know. Excuse me. I'm a little annoyed because I've been trying. Yes, finally, I'm alive. I've been trying to get this going since before 11 a.m. So you guys, please bear with me. Today, I need y'all to share for me for real because I got to do this from my phone. I am unable to go live from my computer the way that I normally do. So I'm gonna need y'all. Hey Jamie, thank you so much for joining. I promise this was not me. I've been trying to do this since like 10:58. Greetings to you too. Like I am excuse me, when I tell you I'm annoyed, I'm so annoyed. I just approved a post for somebody that I don't even know on my page, and I'm gonna need to go take that off on my wall. But anyway, to get us going this morning, I am, if you just give me a moment to hit all these buttons, I've been trying to get this going. I had everything up. I had Instagram up. I had YouTube up. I had everything up. I had Facebook going, and for some reason, it kept saying no, we can't do your Facebook Live today. We ain't even rocking like that. We're not gonna do it. So that's what had happened, and that's why you're just seeing me. However, a sister got some stuff to share this morning. So if you give me a moment just to pull my notes up, then we can get the show started. Because, ooh, I'm annoyed. I am annoyed. I might be more than one annoyed today. Remember that guy, the Domino's Pizza annoyed? The one that was messing up everybody's orders? That's how it feels today. That guy is somehow in here in my life doing stuff. Don't know what his problem with me is, but you know, that's what the deal and the drill is. So one moment, I just am sharing in one more place. And then we're gonna get right to it. I really do not like, I don't love the look of the sharing from the phone. I don't like the way it looks. And what's crazy too is it seems to not be allowing me to share. Okay, forget it. I ain't even worried about it. Whatever happens just happens. So again, I am your frustrated host, Celebrity Mary, this morning. I am out here, even though I'm frustrated, leading with love and governed by peace on the Moneyfest Destiny show. This is the gospel of money, because money is your God-given right. I'm still trying to get my angles together. This is crazy. It's a different kind of Bible study, and I do this each and every Sunday at 11 a.m., which is the most segregated hour of the week. Y'all know how we do. I rebroadcast this show every Sunday at 6 p.m. In this same location. Unfortunately, today I won't have a call-in number because I was not able to get online the way that I normally do. Greetings, Ebony. Thank you very much for joining. So I can't even offer you a call-in number, but feel free to tag, share, repost. Feel free to make any comments. Let me know that you're here. That's the only way that I'll know you're here. Hi, Reese. How are you? Facebook typically doesn't let me know who is watching, so it's not always easy to know who's in the house. So, excuse me, feel free to let me know that that you're here, okay? Excuse me. You know I like feedback. Let me know if I'm hitting the marks that you want me to hit. Let me know if I'm talking about things that are meaningful to you. Excuse me. I'm just, ooh, honey, today is just one of those days. And you know what's really odd about this is that this weekend has been an amazing weekend. I've had some great interactions with some amazing women. I've had fantastic, maybe that's what's going on. Maybe I've been having too much fun. All I've been doing though is working. It ain't like I've been like hanging out, partying, shaking my tail feathers or nothing like that. But even if I did, is that reason enough to not let my program come through? I don't even know what to say about that. So anyway, So I'm going to try and see your comments over here. I'm going to try and pay attention over here. I feel discombobulated and I feel like it's showing. So anyway, make sure you stick around to the end. I always have exciting announcements about stuff that I'm doing. This show has caveats, warnings, and disclaimers. If you've never seen the show, if you've not ever watched any of the replays, then just be warned that even though this is a different kind of Bible study, I still am who I am, and what you see with me is what you get. That's it. We don't put on no airs around here. We don't do the fake. So what you see is what you get. So, just be warned. Be warned. Don't assume that people are lying just because they're sharing information with you that you have not ever heard before. Don't make that assumption about people. And any advice that's given and that you actually take, that's going to be based on the personal experience or independent research by the speaker. So make sure that you're engaging at your own risk. Today's topic is what God has to say about wolves in sheep's clothing. Y'all have heard that phrase before. I know you have. I know you've heard that phrase before. Everybody has heard that phrase before. Y'all know what it is. You have to be mindful of wolves in sheep's clothing. You have to be mindful of people who show up in your life and show up in your experience looking one way when in fact they have a whole other agenda that favors them and will probably disfavor you. So now y'all have heard that phrase. Somebody coming into your experience who is looking for a way to partner with you so that they can come up. That in and of itself is not a problem. The issue is when people show up in your life with an agenda that is hidden. Usually if an agenda is hidden, it is because they believe that whatever they're bringing to you will either not benefit you, or they can't think of how it will benefit you, so they don't know how to present it, or it will actually cause you harm. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Again, tag, share, repost, do a watch party, use the hashtag 2020BossUp. That's my situation going on right now. I am helping people get their lives together for 2020. We're not waiting for the new year to come in. Every day is a new year. Every day is the first day of a new year. You get to do this for 365 more days starting right now. So you can always start. There's never a reason to wait. All of that. I want to make sure, again, for the new people, you have the reason the show exists is because I have evidence that money is pretty important to God. And a lot of people who profess to be on earth to do God's work eschew money. They have been raised with beliefs that are not serving them. They serve them to a point. Let me say it that way. A lot of people have been served to a point where, hey, Dernisha, hey, Reese, thank you for joining. Served to a point, but seem to have hit a ceiling or hit a wall and they can't go any further. And what they don't understand is that they are in that place because they don't have an understanding of what their relationship with money is and what it should be versus what it should be, right? So this show exists for that reason. After God, the second most discussed topic in the Bible is money. And that suggests to me that money is pretty important to God. If it weren't, he probably wouldn't talk about it so much. And this is if you believe that the Bible is true. But even if you don't, you can look around your life and you can see that money is pretty important. Some people try and downplay the importance of money, but try living in this world without it if you don't know who you are. Now, you can get through here. You can get around being on earth without money. You can get through that. You don't need money to breathe air into your lungs. But you recognize that life is very different when you got you some coins in your pocket versus when you don't. Okay? And again, most people don't remember who they are. Most people don't know that they are incredible creators who came to earth to have experiences, and they can have whatever experience that they want to have. Most people don't remember that. A lot of us have to be reminded. That's why people like me are out here doing the things that I'm doing. So I said all of that to say, just because I said all of that to say, welcome to the Moneyfest Destiny show. So look, make sure that you're following me go to my page, click the follow button. You can hover over my pretty face or my name or something like that, and you'll see an option to follow. Make sure you choose follow, and then when the next button comes up, select see first. That way you'll get a notification every time that I go live. Make sure that you have liked and are following my Celebrity Mary Golden Hearts Holdings page, because I do a lot of stuff over there too. So, and you know, I'm creating community. I'm creating a community, and I want to be able to consistently bring you high quality content. And it's encouraging when I see, I mean, I just gonna have to keep it all the way real. It is encouraging when I see new people show up. It's encouraging when I see people who've been riding with me continuing to ride and inviting their friends, and that it is encouraging. That's the thing that keeps me doing it. So keep doing that so I can keep doing this, okay? I feel like I'm bringing value. I feel like I'm adding value, and I feel like y'all feel like I'm adding value. Couple birthday wishes, birthday greetings, I should say, to a few people. My cousin, my Facky May cousin, I love her so much. This girl, we got so many stories. This is my cousin. I want to say my favorite cousin, but I got so many favorite cousins, right? But we're really close for a long time. So happy birthday, Betty Blue. Happy birthday to my first bishop, Bishop James E. Wright. His birthday is today, and happy birthday to my first husband. He gave me this beautiful daughter, and he is the custodian at this point of my third grandson, and I'm grateful to him. So happy birthday to him. I got a lot of Libras in my life, y'all. I should probably be more balanced because I got so many Libras in my life, but child, we'll figure it out. Don't y'all worry about it. Also, make sure that you are connecting with me about the Black Dollar Fair. I'm so excited about that. You guys know that I'm a Christmas ambassador here in the Hampton Roads area for the nationwide movement known as the Black Dollar Fair. It's a self-esteem movement for Black women and girls. Our goal is to change the way that Black women are perceived, and more importantly, how Black women perceive themselves. And we see the needle moving on Black women. We see it. But that means that this is the time to get the work done. Doesn't mean it's time to sit back and take a breather, because the truth of the matter is, we just because we out here building our own tables don't mean we not still on the menu. So we got to keep doing our thing. We need to strike while the iron is hot. I feel like the iron is hot right now. So that's what we out here doing with the Black Dollar Fair. If you are not a Black woman, you can still participate. You can still be a support. You can still be an ally. You can be a porcelain pal if you are a woman who is not Black. Or you could be a Black Doll brother if you're a man who is of any race and you just want to support the Black Dollar Fair movement. There's links in the description. Make sure you're saving the date, December 7th, 2019 for 1 o'clock. We're doing our annual dolling giveaway and holiday party. Excuse me. Our annual giveaway, doll giveaway and holiday party. It's going to be here in Virginia Beach. We're honoring Black queens this year. That's our theme. We still need sponsors and partners. I had a fantastic meeting last night. I'm so looking forward to what's about to pop off with this event. I am grateful to our current sponsors, Golden Hearts Charitable Companies, 21 Burgers Gaming Lounge, and of course, Celebrity Mary. But you can be a part of that as well. The other thing to look forward to in the Hampton Roads area is beginning in January 2020. For our 2020 Boss Up, I am going to be doing free, as in you don't have to give me no coins, financial wellness workshops. Those are designed to help you kind of shift your thinking about what your finances are. It's not just talk sessions. It's not going to be just talk sessions. We're going to do some work. We're going to do some work, and you are going to figure out how you can move yourself forward financially, and how you can leave the financial legacy that you want to leave for your family. Because whether you plan for it or not, you're going to leave a financial legacy. I'm just saying, you get to choose what you want that legacy to be. Now, I feel like I'm kind of caught up. I'm right on schedule to make sure that I get the get to the word. I'm not going to do a whole lot of framing today because y'all already know what the problem is. Wealth and inequity, inequity in wealth, I should say. Wealth is distributed in ways that don't feel very equitable to most of us. So, and that's throughout the world. It's not just here in the United States. We know that there are 4 classes of workers, or 4 ways that people get money. The 4 classes of workers are the poor, the working class, the wealthy, and the elite. We know that the poor and the working class make up 95% of the population, but they only share in 5% of the wealth. And we know that the other 5% of the wealth, the other 5% of the population is holding 95% of the wealth. We know these things. This is out here. You can check me out down the street. We don't have to pull up any statistics in order to show that. But I will say this. I will remind you of this. If you are in the poor and the working class, and I'm going to tell you something. First, let me tell you something that you might not know. If you are living in the United States of America and you are employed, you are amongst the wealthy and the elite. I'm just saying, you're amongst those people, meaning you're a part of that subgroup. But you don't recognize it. And because you don't recognize it, you don't operate in that way. But I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you understand that you can have the exact lifestyle that you want to have and ensure that the children that you leave in this earth will have the exact kind of lifestyle that you want them to have. I can show you how to ensure that when you decide to leave this earth, that the wealth that you work to create right now will do exactly what you want it to be doing once you're gone. So even from the other side, you will still be able to direct what it is that you want to have happen here in this earth. That's my job. So you stick with me. I'll show you things and I'll take you places, boo. That's how we get down around here. Okay? All right. So let's get into the word. This week, I am talking to you. Oh, by the way, first and foremost, there is a foundational scripture for this show. It is Proverbs 22:17, and this is what the scripture is. It says, "Incline your ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply your mind to my knowledge." Now, what that means is what that is talking about for this particular show. The context is all about economic healing. You cannot get any other kind of economic healing. You can't get any kind of healing unless you get some general healing. You can't see money rushing mightily into your experience until you start getting some healing in those dark areas, in those dark places, those hidden places, the recessed places that you don't think about. So what this scripture is saying to you, though, is be open to hearing new information and be ready to apply, be prepared and do it. Apply that new information in your life. That's how you get to from knowledge is power to applied knowledge is power, how you move the needle in your own life. I typically am coming from the New American Standard Version of the Bible. I like to plain speak, etc., etc. We talk about this every week. Go back and listen to some of my replays and I'll explain why that is the Bible that I choose to use for this show, unless I tell you otherwise. But this week, we all in the New American Standard Version of the Bible. Also, for those who are new, you know that you don't know. Well, let me tell you. I stick pretty closely to the New Testament and specifically to the Gospels because that's where you're going to get the red letters. That's where Jesus is talking. And if Jesus is the point of the Bible, then we should probably be paying more attention to what Jesus had to say about anything than other people. So I'm pretty narrow in my focus in that way. So here we are, Matthew 7:15 through 23. Y'all are familiar with this when Jesus said, "You'll know them by their fruits." So earlier today on my wall, I made a post. I shared a memory, actually. That's what it was. I shared a memory. And the memory, oh my goodness, a lot of people have checked in. Let me say great rising to each of you. So great rising, David. Great rising, Deshaun, Richard. Hey, Tequila. How y'all doing? Hi, Anthony. Hey, Bridget. Lynn, Daniel, Nabi. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate you all. I really appreciate you all for being here. If you don't say anything, Facebook won't let me know that you're here. So I don't know if y'all still around. I don't know. It'll tell me it's only 2 people watching, and then I'll click off and it'll say you had 900 people watch your video. But anyway, I made a post. I shared a memory on my wall, and I introduced it by saying, look, there's a trigger warning here. I might get on somebody's nerves. I might step on a toe or two. And here's the memory. I'm gonna look at it real quick and tell you. So back in last year, around this time last year, I said, if you allow people to disqualify themselves, they will. And what I meant by that is this. At the time that I wrote it, what I was thinking about is how people will look at something that they want. They really want to have it. They want to do it. They want it. And they'll say something like, oh man, that costs too much. Oh shoot, I ain't got that kind of money. Man, that's for them folk. You know what I'm saying? You know people, you've done it. I've done it. Everyone has done it at some point in their lives who has been taught that there is such a thing as poverty, scarcity, lack, not enough. You know, we've all done it because those are things that we were taught. So now that we've come into correct knowledge, we don't do that. But we recognize, we being me, I'm we, okay? Recognize that there are still a lot of people who are in that bondage today. There are a lot of people who do not understand, who do not recognize, who do not know that they can create whatever it is that they want. So they will see something, desire it, and disqualify themselves from it. They don't, hey Cecilia, thank you very much for joining. They're not looking to disqualify themselves, but they do it. They do it because that's what they believe. That's what they've been taught. That's what a lot of us have been taught, especially those of us who have been in or close to the church. The church has been complicit in distorting our views about money. And we'll talk more about that another time. I want to try and stay as close to this message that this topic today as I can without veering off too much. But people will disqualify themselves. What I didn't say and what I wasn't thinking about in this way at that time when I made this post is that not only will you disqualify yourself, but there are people who are predators. When you're in the position of believing in lack, in scarcity, not enough, when you have those feelings and beliefs, even if they're not showing up in your mind as thoughts, when you have those feelings in your heart, you in essence are laying yourself bare as prey. And when you lay yourself bare as prey, guess what shows up? Predators. Predators cannot exist without prey. So once you position yourself as prey, predators have to show up. Those are just the rules. That's just how it is. Once you believe that the lion is going to get you, the lion is going to show up. Now, it's still up to you to decide whether or not the lion is going to get you. But the lion is going to show up, right? That's just the law of nature. That's just how it works. Everything has opposites or poles. There is a duality to everything. We all know this. But when you put yourself in a position like that, if you don't have someone like me who's willing to be a gatekeeper, who's willing to be a vanguard, who's willing to stand in the gap and be between you and the predator, then you end up falling prey to those who come looking for something to eat. Okay, like I said, just because we out here building our own tables and whatnot, don't mean that we're not still on the menu. So, what made me think about this is a few weeks ago, I think I was on IG maybe. I could have been on Facebook. I don't know. I was on social media and I saw a post that was going around. It's not quite a meme. I think it's been turned into a meme. But someone made a post that has gained some traction. And the post says something like, something along the lines of, why is it that when people who have businesses post, they won't put the price on the post? Like, why it always got to be, I inbox you? And then it was like, bitch, what the big secret is? Well, here's the big secret. Here's the big secret. There are people out here who will use the information that, for instance, I put on my post in order to offer you an inferior product. So I may say something like, okay, what I'm offering costs $100. And they may slide up in your box, in your DM and go, I see you looking for widgets and whatnots. I got widgets and whatnots and I'm only charging $80. And you, because you believe in poverty and lack and not enough and scarcity and all of those things, $80 sound better out of your pocket than $100. But here's the thing they won't tell you. They won't tell you that they have not spent the last 10, 12, 15 years perfecting their widgets and whatnots. They won't tell you that because they can't tell you that. They won't tell you that that their widgets and whatnots have not been tested in the market, or that they're not even using them. They won't tell you that. They will offer you an inferior product and you will pay for it. And then when it doesn't work the way that you expect, when it doesn't work the way that you heard me say it was going to work, all right? Because I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you what I know. I ain't telling you what I heard. I ain't making up stories. I'm telling you what it is and how it goes. When they see, hey, cousin, when they see that the thing didn't work for them the way that they expected it to, based on the expectation that you planted in their mind, then they start saying, see, I told y'all that don't work. And then they start looking at you with the side eye like, yeah, you said that, but they didn't do the work with you. They did the work with someone else. And they still was like, yeah, but it's your fault. So I said that to say, and how this ties in to this scripture. Hey, Kurt, happy belated birthday. I tried to reach out to you the other day to tell you happy birthday. I'm not sure what happened, but anyway, they will offer you an inferior product. You will become upset because that product didn't perform in the way that you expected it to, based on what you heard a sister like me saying the product was going to do. If you want widgets and whatnots, then you should probably be more investigative about who you getting your widgets and whatnots from. Because somebody's sliding up into your DM after seeing me post that my widgets and whatnots cost $100 and telling you that they can do the same thing for $80 is a flat out lie to begin with. Because they don't even know what I'm doing. Let's start with that. So what the way Jesus had said it was like this. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Get your church cloths ready. Get your church cloths ready. So Jesus said, beware of false prophets. They come to you, excuse me, in sheep's clothing, but they are ravenous wolves. He said, you will know them by their fruits. Grapes are not gathered from thorn bushes, nor figs from thistles, are they? So I say it like this. If you out here planting orange seeds, why you mad because you ain't got no apples? You see what I'm saying? So you'll know them by their fruits. So I ask you, when you're considering these things, when you're considering how you're going to move forward, what you're going to invest in, where you're going to put your seeds, what kind of ground you want to till up, I'm asking you what you planting. What kind of seeds are you planting? What kind of harvest are you seeking? Are those two things compatible? Are they congruous? Do they go together? Again, if you plant money seeds, you got to get a money harvest. But planting money seeds is where people start getting confused. Because sometimes you will just toss your money seeds to the wind. You may be tossing your money seeds out amongst the thorns and the thistles and the rocks and in the dry places where the sun will come and beat down on it and nothing can ever grow there. So I'm just saying, excuse me, whatever seeds you're planting, what fruit are you bearing? How will people know you? How will people describe you? What do people have to say about you? How they seeing that? Right? How's that showing up in your life? So I'm coming to talk to you today about this message, about these wolves in sheep's clothing. Now, I haven't had this issue come up in a while now. I haven't had it come up in a while. And I think part of the reason is because I've kind of taken my focus away from that. I have decided that I'm simply going to deal with people who want to deal with me. In fact, what actually happened was, this is how it actually went down. I was like, fuck this. I'm tired of dealing with people who need me to help them. Because people who are doing that have a stronger belief in their lack and their scarcity and their poverty and their not enough than they do in the fact that they can create whatever. I'm just here as a conduit. I'm just here as a help and a support to what it is that you want to do. It's not my job to change your mind. All I do is present the information. So I made a firm decision that I didn't want to work with poor people anymore. And I said that a few times. I was like, yo, I don't fuck with poor people. And folks have gone, they have clutched their pearls. What do you mean? You don't want to help nobody? No, that's not what I said either. I said I don't fuck with poor people. Because, see, that's a mentality. That is a mentality. That is a way of thinking. And believe it or not, it is actually quite entitled and quite privileged. Believe it or not, there are people in this world who have a firm belief that if you have achieved, that if you have acquired, if you have done some work that has gotten you some success, that somehow, for some reason that I ain't quite figured out yet, you owe them something. You're supposed to feel bad about feeling good. You're supposed to feel bad about doing well. You're supposed to feel so bad about feeling good and doing well that you go into your own pockets, into your own accounts, and you give them something. Because you owe it to them. I mean, you got it. You know these people. Some of them share DNA with you. I'm just saying. Some of them share DNA with you. Some of them show up on your timeline. Some of them show up at your house unannounced and uninvited. Some of them show up in your shop wanting to sell their CDs and you know, homemade cakes, whatever. Some of them show up like that. And I'm not now, don't twist that. Don't twist that. Y'all know, don't twist that. You know what I mean? Because there are some people, there's a certain air you want to create or a certain ambiance you want to have, and you don't want a particular kind of vibe rolling through your space. And when you say, listen, you know, is there another way we can do this? Or if you say, nah, I'm good on that, they might cop an attitude with you. If you got a shop, you done had this happen. Probably. Likely. Hey Lamar, thank you for joining. Hi Anthony, thank you very much for joining. So yeah, you want to make sure that you want to make sure, you will know them by their fruit. Again, these are wolves dressed as sheep, showing up and looking at you like, well, you got it. And then there's the obvious, you know, I remember when we first started with IML. Everybody was, one of the ways that we were convincing people to join our team and to pay attention to what it was that we were doing is we were showing results. We were showing results of different trades. And in some of these results, we would include how much money we had actually made. And I remember saying, we kind of, weren't feeling that at first, like not like we don't want to go that far. It's actually pretty gauche to ask someone how much money they're making. It's impolite. It's not, and maybe I know that I still have some very traditional views about certain things. That's one of them. Asking people about how much money they make, how much money they got, all of that kind of stuff. That's just bad form. It's bad manners. You know what I'm saying? It's like, who raised you? Where did you come from with that foolishness? But I recognize that that's this culture. We live in a culture now where you go on social media and you fan out all your bread. Now, those of us that understand how money works and what money is and got a little money here and there, you know, doing a little something, got a coin or two, we know how to do that. Because the first thing that people think, the ones that believe in lack and scarcity and poverty and feel entitled and privileged to your comeuppance, they think you walk around with whatever it is you say you got in your pocket. And for the sake of safety and just good common sense, you don't go around flashing money and talking about what you got. And you just don't do that. It's bad form and it's not safe. And apparently, there was a report in the on social media recently. A gentleman was on social media flashing his money and showing off his cars, and somehow that got back to a particular police department, and they came and they arrested him and took his money. And I don't know about his car, but they came and took his bread. And now I don't know about the legalities of all of that or whatnot, but allegedly it was a true story according to what was put out on Facebook. So I'm just saying, there are ways you will know them by their fruit, by their clothing. You will not know them by their clothing. You will not know them by their clothing, but you will know them by the fruit that they bear. You will know them. You know, some people. I was on LinkedIn a few days ago, and hi Frederick, thank you very much for joining. I was on LinkedIn a few days ago, and I was reading an article, and the article was about was this the one? I forgot what the article was about, what the whole overarching point of the article was. But I'm on LinkedIn and I'm reading this article, and the people in there, y'all, I done lost my train of thought. I looked to greet somebody and lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. I was saying you won't know them by their clothing. What was I talking about? What was I getting ready to say when I was on LinkedIn? I saw a number of things on LinkedIn the other day. And I keep wanting to talk about the take your dog to work and take your children to work thing, but I don't think that's where I was going with it. Well, whatever. I'll come back to it. If I remember, I'll come back to it. I do not. Don't you hate when that happens? I really don't like when that happens. I am not a fan. I am not a fan of losing my train of thought like that. God, no. But y'all know me. Y'all know me. Hey, Hayward, thank you very much for joining. I appreciate you being here. So, anyway, back to these wolves in sheep's clothing. Back to these people who are bearing bad fruit. So another thing that Jesus said was, every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown to the fire, because a good tree cannot produce bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. So if you want to see more good fruit in your life, there's some things that you gonna need to do. The first thing you need to do, hey Natia, hey Shael, the first thing you're gonna need to do is address the way that you see yourself. That's the first thing. You're gonna really have to look at yourself and tell yourself some hard truths. And you know, the hardest truth you might have to tell yourself, believe it or not, the hardest truth that you might have to tell yourself is this. You ready for it? Hold your butts. Hold your butts, because I'm going to tell you what the hardest truth is that you're going to have to tell yourself. This is the hardest for most people to believe. But here it is. You are 100% worth it. You're worth it. Now, on the surface, that may seem like, girl, I know that. But when you start talking to yourself, when you start listening to your own negative talk, your negative self-talk, you'll begin to realize that you have not believed that for a long time. You'll start hearing yourself, you know, it's usually the second voice that's the issue, right? You'll think of something that you want, that you like, that you desire, that should be in your experience. And before you can finish getting a good feeling about it, you'll hear the doubt come in, the second voice. The first voice is typically the right voice, but you will succumb and allow the second voice to tell you that, first you gotta, you ain't gonna be able to until you, it's the second voice. It's the second voice. So the very first truth that you got to tell yourself, the very first truth that you got to confront is that you are 100% worth it. 100%. There is no room for any kind of doubt. There's no room, whatever that false belief is about why you do or don't have a particular thing, you're 100% worth it. It has no room in your life. That's a hard one to admit, because that second voice, it'll show up every single time. And believe me, when I tell you, it's a daily, sometimes hourly, sometimes minute by minute walk to get to that place where you believe that you are 100% worth it, but you are. So that's the first one. The next thing that you have to do is this. This is another hard one. This is another hard truth, y'all. This is another hard truth. The next thing that you have to do is you have to acknowledge that you are in the situation that you are in because you created it. Now that's hard. That's hard. You have had some things happen in your life that you go, no fucking way on earth was that my fault. No way was that my fault. Babe, hate to bust your bubble, but I like doing it. From the time you decided, yes, I said decided, to wrap your spirit in flesh and come into this world, every decision that you have made has been yours. Every one of them. You went, so I believe, hey Ethan, thank you for joining. I believe that babies come into this world with the wisdom of the ages in their hearts and in their minds. They are spirits, right? They're only a few human months removed from the place where God is, right? They're only a few human months removed. And there's evidence of this in study after study that show that babies are really resilient. Babies in the womb react to things that go on outside the womb. There is a prescience. Well, not a prescience. There is a gnosis. There's something that they know and they're responding to. But here it is, when you come out of the spirit realm and you start, developing this body, you're having different experiences now. You're getting limitations that you didn't have before. You're getting sensations that you didn't have before. There are no sensations in the spirit world. That only happens with the body. Sensations are the same things as experiences. And once you have experiences, you begin to attach them to certain things. Children can do amazing things until an adult or someone else tells them that they can't. As soon as the adults start interfering with what the children believe about themselves, the children change in a different way. They begin to change. So every decision, every one of them, if you own it, if you acknowledge it, if you accept responsibility, then what that means for you is that you created it so you can uncreate or create a new one. Isn't that good news? It was good news for me when I got it. Now, the first time I heard that, I was resisting as hell. I was like, yeah, nah, nope. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, Zam. Nope. That don't even make no fucking sense. But the more I began to understand myself, the more I let my guard down, the more I started to change who I think I am, the more I started to lessen my ego, the more I started to drop the labels, Christian, black, woman, female, mother, wife, daughter, cousin, friend, business owner, employee, investor, you name it. As the more I started dropping labels off of who I believe I am, the easier it became for me to see, to hear, to remember, to acknowledge. And once I got a hold of that, like the key, it was like a switch flipped in my brain. When I had the understanding, the gnosis, the knowledge that I could just make my life be what I want it to be. I can just create it. I can recreate it. I created it the first time. I can create it again. I can just change it. And when I tell you my life is almost 180 degrees different than it was when I began my journey. And I say almost because it wasn't like my life wasn't horrible. I don't have a lot of horror stories in my background. Like I don't have some of the overcoming things. Like I didn't have those experiences. I didn't want them. I recently did some regression work with someone, and I uncovered some things about who I've been before, where I've been before, and it was amazing, the stuff that I saw. And I was like, that makes sense to me for why this existence that I have now, why I move like I move, why I behave like I behave, why certain things mean what they mean to me. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. So much sense. But it makes sense for me. This is who it's for. It makes sense to me. You got to find your own what makes sense to you situation. But if you invest the time, the energy, if you invest the honesty, sometimes, so, one of the things that was recommended to me as I was going on the journey was to scribe, to write it out. To sit down, to write it out. And I would do that, but I'm less consistent with writing it out than I am doing this. I will turn on my camera and I will talk to myself. And I'm going to tell you, when I play those things back, there is a distinct difference between the person who begins the conversation and the person who ends it. Try it. I'm just telling you what worked for me. I'm just telling you what happened in my life. I will start the conversation usually when I'm I focused and me focused, and this stuff. I'm speaking from a place of weakness and low vibration. But by the time it's finished, I'm very you focused. I'm very kind of third person detached and very high vibrating. And when I come up out of that, when I get up and I turn my camera off and I go out to live my life, I'm starting from a higher place. And I'm doing things like, and I'm marveling at what's happening and what's unfolding in front of me. And it makes me feel very safe. I feel like I can just go out and do what it is that I need to do because my well-being is assured. I feel very safe just kind of being who I am. And it's funny, I had a couple of women who I met recently. One lady was like, I just want to hug you. You just got this light all over you. And I was like, girl, hug me. It's okay. And another lady said to me, I just love, like, you just show up and it's just, you just like you, and that's it. And I understood what she was trying to convey. And she was like, you just be you. I want to be like that. And I'm like, girl, you should do it. It is amazing to just show up and be you. It's amazing. There's nothing like it. And I know the difference between, showing up and showing up as you. I know the difference because I've lived through that. I have shown up and not really been me. I have shown up and have, tried to fit in. I've tried to make my square peg fit into some round holes. It didn't work. It didn't feel good either. It didn't feel good. It served at the time because everything serves. Everything serves. It served at the time, but it didn't feel good. And feeling good is how you create good shit. If you feeling bad, guess what you're going to create? You will know them by their fruit. A good tree only bears good fruit. And a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit. If you say you believe the word, you over here doing a whole Bible study. And I'm assuming that if you was doing a Bible study, you must believe what's in the Bible. And if you believe what's in the Bible, then you must be following the teachings of Christ. And if you was following the teachings of Christ, you should probably listen to what he said. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. His commandments will love God and love your neighbor. Those are the commandments. Love God and love your neighbors. Well, who is God? That's what I thought. If there is no separation between you and God, guess who God is? It's you. It's you. You, God right there with you. He's not separate and apart, sitting up on a cloud, waiting to smite thee for the very faintest of sins you might commit in this earth. He's right there with you, creating. God said, I know the plans that I have for you. Plans to prosper you. Excuse me. Plans to prosper you. Plans to not bring you harm. So who is this other God that people telling you to be scared of, fear and trembling? Who is that God? I'm just saying. Who is that God? The one that sent his only begotten son to save you from all your sins is the same one that wants to smite you for every little misstep that you make in these fleshy bodies. I made a point last week. We was talking about, we was going on and on about, I'm going to let y'all go. I promise I am. I'm a little bit behind, but don't worry about it. Hey, Walter, thank you very much for joining. I was having these debates back and forth about the forgiveness situation that was going on across the country. And somebody, you know what, I probably got to stop acknowledging people. I keep losing my train of thought. But we were going back and forth about this, what would Jesus do kind of situation with all this forgiveness stuff. And I pointed out that Jesus said a few things that people seem to either overlook or I don't know, I don't get it. One of the thing that I said when they were using the scripture that said where Jesus said, Father, please forgive them for they know not what they do. My question was, Jesus said to God, right? Please forgive them because they are ignorant. They don't know what they're doing. But the thing that they were doing was never specified. And everyone just assumes that he meant they don't know who they're killing. But the truth is, according to the Bible, Jesus said, I lay down my life. No one can take it from me. I'm laying it down. So why would they need to be forgiven for killing him if their role in this situation was to get to receive the life? Why would they need to be forgiven for that? So there was something else. I'm not even going to try to guess at. But that's what Jesus said. Forgive them for their ignorance. Forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. He also said that when you stand and make vain repetitions, you praying like a heathen or a hypocrite, and you're going to have your reward. Whenever you pray like a hypocrite, you're going to have your reward. When you praying out in public and you fasting and, oh, child, I can't eat it because I'm fasting, and you giving charity, look at what I'm doing for these homeless people. When you doing all that out openly and in public, you have your reward. The God in you is is who knows. That's the only other somebody that knows what you're thinking when you're thinking it. That's the only one that knows the intent of your heart, the inward parts of you. That's what the Bible says. So if that God already knows all of this, what's in you, that God knows your heart, that God already is the power that's already working in you, then what is all this other stuff that people keep getting taught and caught up in? I'm just offering you something to think about. That's all. That's my job. That's my work in this earth. Those are the fruit that I bear. And you can see that in my life. You can see that in my life. I have stopped conforming and stopped swallowing whole things that are shoved at me in order to get me to behave in a particular way. I'm freeing myself and thinking for myself. And I'm going to tell you something that has made all the difference in my life. It is why I know that from wherever I'm at, no matter what I'm going through, I can stop and just create something new. And I keep doing it. And it's actually kind of fun, y'all. It's actually kind of fun. If you haven't tried it, you should. It's actually pretty fun. It's cool not being married to an outcome. It feels good to see something work out in your favor. Even though you expect it, it's still the way that it comes through. It's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't know you was going to do it like that. I didn't know it was going to come. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you. I didn't know that's how it was going to be. That's a good feeling, y'all. That's a good feeling. So anyway, excuse me, I'm not going to keep y'all long. I am so glad, and I'm always thrilled and excited when you all spend this time with me. Again, I have said on many occasions, y'all just kind of get to eavesdrop on me ministering to myself, because I'm teaching me every week. Every week that I come on and do this show, I'm holding myself accountable to completing something that I said I would complete. I'm holding myself accountable to managing my time in a way that I said I would manage it. I'm holding myself accountable to helping anyone who wants me to help them, being a support, being a sounding board, offering another perspective. So you guys get to, you guys allow me, y'all get to witness me, and y'all help me to just improve on myself. Y'all help me. And I appreciate you. It's Sunday morning, and I know what happens at 11 o'clock on a Sunday. So whenever I see you here with me, I'm always grateful and appreciative. And I thank you for joining me. Anywho, y'all know what time it is. I love each and every one of you, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. Peace.